Hello, I'm Lucy from Colouring in the Midst of Madness, and today I'm bringing you my review of the Johanna Basford 2022 Weekly Colouring Planner. Now, this I think is the fifth one of these, and as ever, it's absolutely beautiful. So on the front, it's cream with a black line drawing, and it's got gold foiling, and that goes across to the back, but without the gold foiling. Now, this purple card band can be easily removed. So if you want to take it off, you can. The covers are a thick card. They won't do brilliantly like in a bag or anything. So this does need to be kind of like a desk planner rather than like a sort of go in your bag and take it around and about sort of planner. And as you can see, it's spiral bound, so you can fold it back on itself. And it's filled with really beautiful illustrations. So at the beginning, we have an overview of 2022. And then we get straight on with the dates for the year. So the planner is only American. There aren't any other published versions of this, I believe. Occasionally France does one, but the only English language one is the American one. The days run Monday to Sunday in this. And there's lovely leafy lettering. The dates are kind of universal, so they include sort of worldwide holidays, not just American ones, and it tells you, excuse me, which holidays are celebrated in which countries. So the illustrations are all from all of Johanna's books, apart from the last two. So there are no illustrations in this from Worlds of Wonder or 30 Days of Creativity, but there are plenty of illustrations from all of the other books. So there's a really good mix of pages like this, which have been zoomed in. So like this is from Lost Ocean, and this is much larger than it was printed in the original colouring book. But then there are other pages where, like this one, so this is from Magical Jungle, the whole page has been shrunk down to be one planner page. So it means that the intricacy and detail levels are really varied. So there's a really good mix for different days depending on how well you're concentrating. So as with February, I think every year in these planners, there's a heart for Valentine's Day. This time there isn't a skull for Halloween. I know some people really like those and some people don't. I'm in the camp that doesn't, so I don't miss them when they're not here. But it's just something to note. And yeah, there is a really good mix of images. So I have had a look through the other planners, and obviously there are some repeats because like there's only so many pages in Johanna's books, and obviously with using like 52 plus per year in a planner, you are going to end up with repeats. But generally they're all done in a different way. So it might have been that like the whole of this page was printed in another one, and then this chunk of it is printed in this one, or vice versa. And obviously, because she publishes new books sort of each year, there are more books in each planner each year as we go through. So there is a wider range. So the paper is cream, and it's kind of a medium thinnish thickness. It won't coat well with water or alcohol markers. And alcohol markers would really spread and obviously bleed through hugely, which kind of would wreck the whole planner thing. So I'd certainly advise against using those. But the paper works well with water-based pens, and is actually really nice with pencils, despite it not sort of being specific colouring book paper. It actually works really nicely. So yeah, you can use pens or pencils, or gel pens, etc. With these planners. In terms of using them as an actual planner, if you're going to write on them, I would really advise using either a very blunt pencil so that you're not like digging through, or a quite wet pen, so not like a probably like a gel pen rather than like a ballpoint pen, because obviously ballpoint pens tend to leave indentations, which is then going to come through to your colouring pages. So I would either colour all of the pages ahead of time, and then just use it as a planner as you go through. Or if you're going to sort of colour as you go, yeah, you need to be quite careful about sort of how you use the planner pages. But I know plenty of people get these not as a planner at all, just because we're such huge fans of Johanna's work. And that's certainly why I keep them, and why I bought the first few before I was able to get review copies. I never used them as planners. It was so that I could just have the product, really. And I do find that these are really good for like practicing colouring, colour schemes, and also practicing techniques and things. To me, it feels a bit less overwhelming than using the colouring books. Those feel quite sort of perfect, and I want to keep them that way, which I know we're told not to do, but I am a perfectionist. And yeah, it just feels like a quite accessible way to practice colour schemes in here, either for the page that you're going to do in the book, or just to try things out, or just be a bit braver. So I do think it has a lot of uses. And as I said, you can colour as you go or colour ahead. You could even colour it as a gift. And as you can see, it's so beautiful just as it is. You don't even need to colour it. It looks really finished just in black and white, so you could always leave it like this if you want to. And also, because it's spiral bound, it means that if you want to, at the end of the year, you could take out some of the pages and frame them or gift them. So this is the page I coloured, and I used Castle Art pencils on here, which worked really nicely. I will just hold this up to the camera so that you can see. So there's a fairly good tooth to the paper. These bits are deliberately not blended for the water, whereas they're like kind of burnished on quite a lot of the leaves. And yeah, it actually worked really well. I wasn't particularly expecting it to. And these are pencils that I'm not very used to. I'm starting to get used to them now, but I'm not very familiar with them yet. But they worked really nicely on here. And it was really enjoyable to colour. So you can see that they work really nicely on the paper. So as I mentioned earlier, the intricacy and detail levels massively vary. So like this is quite open, but then other pages are hugely, hugely detailed and like really small. So you will need very sharp pencils and very fine liners on some of the pages. And you will need good vision and fine motor control for some of them. But then others, you've got far more scope and a lot more leeway in terms of not going over the lines so much. So like this page is quite open again. But I mean, none of it's sort of open, like that's not what Johanna draws. So you will need to be quite careful. But as she always says, it's fine to go over the lines and you can just make it part of the work. So I would definitely recommend this planner to anyone who likes her work, anyone who wants a colouring planner, and collectors like me who just have to have everything that she's ever touched. Starting to sound like a stalker. But yeah, I love her work. And this is, as ever, a really lovely planner. There have been quite a lot of distribution issues. So it was actually meant to be published in July, and it's quite often a bit later than that. But as far as I'm aware, it actually is still sort of struggling to get through to people. But obviously it doesn't start till the very end of December. So you've still got plenty of time to get hold of a copy. And I will put the purchase links in the description box. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there are, as ever, Johanna's Christmas images for the whole of December. So you've got a nice selection of those. So at the end, you've got like the the year overview in months for 2023, which is coming quicker than we realise. And then you've got 2021's dates and 2023's. And then I think there are 5 notes pages. And then at the very end, there is a colouring test page. So you can try out your mediums and check if they're going to bleed, if they're going to dent the page, etc, etc. And then we've got this lovely black and white line drawing again, and we're at the end. So yeah, it's a really lovely planner. This year, again, there isn't a day-to-day calendar. but there is a wall calendar which I will also be reviewing, so do check out the description box because the link to that review will be there. I will also try and link it at the end of this video. There are written and photographic reviews of this and that, again linked in the description box. Do leave me a comment to let me know if you're going to get this. Do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more reviews and fun things like that. And I will be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.